All right, so this is week 2 of The Artist Way. This is a week 2 recap, and right now I'm very just aggravated because I just feel like I am finding out the reasons behind some of my blurts. So if you haven't been reading the book, pretty much what you have to do is, there was a part in chapter 1 where you were supposed to write down affirmations, and you were supposed to write down negative thoughts that may have popped up every time you write down affirmations. When I tried this exercise, I had a negative thought process that popped into my mind every single fucking time I wrote an affirmation. Every time I wrote an affirmation, one of these dumbass little blurts would pop up, and it was starting to make, I felt like, okay, this might be a breakthrough. 1, it broke my heart that I thought this way about myself. But 2, what really fucked me up is that once I started to write them down and really see what they were, I realized that none of these blurts were mine. Like, none of these thoughts were mine. They were all things that other people put into me. They were all things that people said that I thought in the moment were minor and that I could just brush it off and that I was stronger than that. But it literally like seeped into my subconscious, and now I'm regurgitating that shit back to myself even when they're not there. And it's just like, you know how fucking damaging that is? And you know how much it has literally stopped me from really truly tapping into myself and my creativity, bro. And today just made it worse because just reviewing it, okay, like, we're supposed to do our morning pages every single day, bro. I missed my morning pages today. I woke up and my fucking partner's sister, their family member passed away, and I felt that shit so deeply. I felt that shit so deeply that it literally made me, like, it triggered me into like a mourning period for my passed away cousin. And that kind of like knocked me out for like a couple hours, even though I was cleaning and all that stuff like that. I didn't prioritize doing my morning pages because I was like stuck mentally off like my cousin's death, and like it just sent me back there, you feel me? And I haven't had some shit like that in a while, but like I'm learning that grief is really not linear, and like I'm gonna have some bad days even though it was a couple years ago. So yeah, pretty much what's getting me is that I'm starting to realize that these blurts are not just coming from myself as well, but it is like I'm starting to identify the blurts that like as they're happening. Like when I have a bad experience with like some other people, they'll literally say some shit, and I can literally like feel it forming the blurt like in the back of my mind, like me retaining what the fuck they're saying. And I'm like, yo, you're really like at this very moment, you're pushing me back. Like all of my growth for all these years, I'm realizing it, I'm changing it, and now I'm starting to identify it as it happens, and it's scaring me because now it's like, okay, now you know that these niggas, these people that are around you are really not for you at all. Like you're really in the bad space, and like what if all it takes is just me getting rid of these people? Like what if that's all it takes for me to really tap in? And why am I so scared to get rid of these people? Like why? Like and I know I'm not supposed to shit on myself, but I didn't even get to do my artist date this week either. My schedule was so taken up by everybody else. In the book, they were talking about these things called crazy makers or something. crazy makers. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Crazy makers. Okay. Some of the most profoundly destructive crazy makers I've ever encountered are themselves famous artists. They are the kind of artists that give the rest of us bad names. Often larger than life, they acquire that status by feeding on the life energies of those around them. I'm just to like put it frankly, I'm surrounded by famous people. I have always been surrounded by famous people, and famous people have always used me as a tool. And anytime I would express that I want to be larger than what they are placing me as, it's always been like a verbal okay, but the actions that follow right behind it consistently show me that these people do not want me to have the dreams that I want. They do not want me to express the way that I need to express. It seems like nobody around me has the audacity to say that I am talentless, or to say that I don't have what it takes. No one can ever fix their fucking mouths to say that shit to me, because they know that I know that shit. I know I have that shit. I know what I fucking deserve. At this point, I know. But they will do whatever the fuck they need to do to make sure that I don't get into the studio, to make sure that I don't have the cover art, to make sure that the feature isn't released, to make sure that the album isn't finished. Like, so much that won't work with me. Like, and I go into these circles because why am I so attached? Like, why can't I just let go and just make it the easier part? I'm trying to see it as a positive thing. I'm trying to see this as just the process of me going through these weeks right now. And I know I'm gonna make it through. So that's the thing, right? So I know I'm gonna make it through, but right now I'm just pissed right now. I'm just irritated. I'm just irritated because there's nothing more I want to do right now than focus on my craft and make wonderful work and shit that people can feel and free themselves with. Something that I can free myself with. And I'm just feeling all these energies and forces trying to just like get me down, and I know I'm gonna make it through. I just don't need me choosing somebody else and prolonging me making it through. You get it. You get it. Crazy makers break deals and destroy schedules. They show up 2 days early for your wedding and expect to be waited on hand and foot. They rent a vacation cabin larger and more expensive than the one agreed upon, and then they expect you to foot the bill. They expect special treatment. They suffer a wide panoply of mysterious ailments that require care and attention whenever you have a deadline looming, right? Or anything else that draws your attention from the crazy maker's demands, right? And because I love them, because I care for them, because I'm afraid to let them go, my creativity suffers for it. And at this point, I'm so angry that I'm really beginning not to care. I can literally feel myself when it starts to happen, like live, like when it's happening live, when I see somebody interjecting on my schedule, getting pissed that I've set something up for myself, that, or that I may even need help on something. Like, Lord, forbid that I need to drive. I need to